Welcome to another great episode of Expert Speak. I'm Michael Delon, and today I'm talking with the one, the only Atiba de Souza. Brother, how are you?
Michael, I am great. It is so good to see you again. It's so good to be here with you again.
Man, we've done, I forget the last time you were on the show, but it's good to reconnect because you are always doing fun things, not only in helping. So Atiba runs a company, Client Attraction Pros. They help you do video magnificently, built a nearly done for you whole process, and then they help you expand your business by syndicating that. I mean, it's just mind blowing. And the cool thing is, Atiba, and this is really where I want to go, because we could talk
Mhm.
about video marketing and all the benefits and all that, but you've done something really cool in the last year or so because of the video, the footprint you have. You got on a lot of stages to speak,
Yes.
and in doing that, though, your business didn't crumple because you have created the science behind the art of building a business that can really run, not only run without you, but multiply and grow without you being there every day.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that because
Let's do it.
all right, so tell us, just give us a snapshot of number one. I mean, how in the world did you get doing what you're doing today? And then let's pivot
Yeah.
in.
So it actually started 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago. Um, right as the pandemic broke, if you will, I went to my first in-person event.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a conference, first in-person conference. I was gone for a week. Okay, in San Diego. And I had a team. We were a small team back then. It was about six of us, but it was really four core people plus two that were pretty darn new. Okay. And, I left the team with stuff to do. And I went to the conference. And I was at the conference for a week. And then we had a meeting at the end of the week from my hotel room in San Diego. And the meeting went something like this. So, what got done this week? Well, we were waiting on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now they said it with a lot more words, but the sum total was nothing because we were waiting on direction. And in that moment, because earlier that week, one of the things I'd done was start to plan the next 3 years and how we were going to grow and expand. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, none of that can happen if y'all just sit around and wait for me.
Yeah.
How am I going to get on stages and get this message out there if y'all just sit around and wait for me? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, most of you listening to me right now can probably relate to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have
Absolutely.
staff, you probably can relate to this in some way, shape, or form. And you probably had the same thought I had initially too. Man, my people suck. Man, I need better people.
Yeah.
Do I need to pay more? What do I need to do here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to fast forward you 3.5 years, just for a moment,
Yeah.
okay, and say last year in 2023, I spoke on 31 stages. I was only home in my office for 3 weeks in a row, twice the entire year.
Wow.
I do not work while I'm on the road, except for when I'm on a plane. That's the only time I work, when I'm on the road. So in other words, I didn't do a lot of work
Yeah.
last year. We now have 23 people on the team. Okay.
Yeah.
And remember I said there were six people originally,
Right.
but four were core. Three of those four core people are still with me today,
Wow.
and
That's
they've
good.
become managers.
Yeah.
The one who left because his family left him an inheritance, long story, he left. Okay, fine. Okay. The people didn't change, Michael. You
Right.
know who did?
I think you did.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh, good. Yeah. Because that's the key. That really is the key. We are leaders, we are CEOs, we are visionaries. But for our teams to grow, yeah, most of the time it's not the wrong people, it's the wrong leader. We are the bottleneck in our business.
Yes, yes. And that is the thing that I had to recognize um, in that moment, coming out of that hotel room. And I was frustrated.
Yeah.
And, most of us would be.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I had to realize I was the problem, y'all.
Yeah.
And you got to realize you are the problem. And
Yeah.
so I started studying,
Hmm.
right? And trying to figure out and asking questions. And a few months after that, I saw a presentation by Chris Crone.
Hmm.
And Chris Crone said something in that presentation that struck me. Like, Michael, you ever hear some information and it hits you right on the nose, right on the bridge of the nose, and it feels like, it just opens everything up?
Yes. Yeah.
Chris Crone did that for me. And here's what he said. He said, I only work 2 days a week, and I get there by replacing myself in my business every 120 days.
Hmm.
And I stopped and I thought, here's a guy who's worth $100 million and he's replacing himself every 120 days. Genius.
That's yes. That's worth studying. That's worth
That
modeling.
and so that's where I've been. And that's what I've been working on. And that's where what we're getting to now. Full disclosure, full disclosure. I haven't gotten to 120 days replace myself.
Right.
And we've had tremendous success. And get this, Michael. Not only have we had tremendous success, but I've boiled it down and we've condensed it down into a repeatable system. Isn't that awesome?
For you, for anybody, for you,
For
for anybody.
anybody,
Yeah, that's
for
okay.
for anybody. And see, here's what I had to realize. Okay. We as business owners, we started in business, we run our businesses, and we're all artists. Now,
Mm,
I'm not talking about the type that slings paint
right.
necessarily. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, an artist is someone who does something that no one else can do, and they can do it repeatedly without effort.
Yeah.
Right? That you're creating art. When
Right.
someone else sees what you do, when someone sees how you publish books, it's art. It's an art form. Okay. And our issue as business owners is we feel like no one else can do the art but me.
That's right. I'm irreplaceable.
Right.
Myth. Yeah.
Major,
Yeah.
major myth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you feel like you're irreplaceable, it's only so long before you become irrelevant.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So here's what you ready for it?
I'm taking notes, baby.
Here's what we came up with. This is how you turn the art that you do into science. And I'm telling you this because we've done it. I've done it repeatedly. And now I've been teaching people to do this, and people are having major success with it.
Okay.
Okay. So
Love it.
this is not a theory. This works. And it's called the CASE method. CASE. Yes, it's an acronym.
Love it.
Acronym. The CASE method. Okay, so here's how this works. You're going to take a process that you think you're an artist at,
Hmm.
that you want someone else on your team to be able to do. Okay. Whatever that process may be, big or small. Okay. Personally, I started with some very critical processes, right? Because those are the ones
Yeah.
that only I had to do. And it was like, they took a lot of my time.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I went right in for the big stuff. Then I identified someone on my team that I believed could do the process. It was in
Hmm.
their job to do the process. Okay. And what I did was I said, okay, here's the process. I'm going to think about how I do this, and I'm going to write down all of the steps of how I do this.
Yep.
Okay. Most of us are kind of used to some of this. This sounds familiar,
Yeah.
right? I did that, and then I gave them the process. And I said, hey, and in this case, in where we started was in SEO research
Hmm.
and how to choose the right keywords. Okay. It's
Hmm.
something I'm an artist at,
Right.
and a lot of people struggle with. Okay. And I said, here's my process. Go do it. And I expect you to fail.
That's good. Oh, that's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
They went off and they did it. And the results came back, and the results were horrible.
Right on target.
They failed. Okay. And so now comes the case method,
Okay.
because we're all used to the front side of this.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
I want you to do this. They go do it. It sucks.
that's right.
Now comes the case method, the C, the C. When they bring it back to you, you want to ask them a question. The first question that you're going to ask them is, what challenge did you have? And just listen. Most important thing here is say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can take notes, but you cannot respond.
Love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen to what challenges they had. Listen to how they thought through it. Listen to why they made decisions that they made. Listen to how they ended up down the wrong path based on certain decisions, and just take notes. Do not say anything. Even if they ask you a question, do not answer it. Note it, say we'll talk about it later. I just want to know what challenges you had with this. What was difficult here? Okay. What caused you pain? What caused you strife here as you were working through this?
Mm-hmm.
And just listen. That's the C. Okay. The A. After you've asked them that, then ask them to articulate the steps that they took.
Mm-hmm.
So say, okay, I want to go back to the beginning now, and I want you to tell me step by step everything you did to get the result that you got.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, say nothing. Say nothing. Just listen, take notes. Take notes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you do those two things and you put them together, you get a really great picture of how they thought and how they thought differently than you.
Bingo.
And it illuminates for you the steps that you take that you don't even recognize you're taking.
Oh, good. Yes.
But if
Yeah.
you cut them off and you add and you'll sabotage the entire process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Yes.
All right. So that's C and A. S. Now that we have that framework of how they were thinking, you're going to choose some of the critical points, not all of them,
Mm-hmm.
not all of them. Choose a couple of the critical points and study them and dive deep. Now, here's the key. Don't just choose the ones they did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They may have done a piece of this absolutely correct. Study it and dive deep with them. It gives you the opportunity to show them, look, you did that right. This isn't about beating them up.
Right.
This is actually about beating yourself up for being a bad communicator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Point of fact. Okay. And so, yes, go in deep on things that they did right. So you can show them, yes, that was right. Go in deep on things that they did wrong and show them, oh, no, you went the wrong way. And that's because I miscommunicated the way
Right.
you should have done it.
Yep.
Not that they did it wrong.
So good. Yeah.
Okay. And then the E. The E is the one that was a surprise for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the E is, what was easier than expected?
Hmm.
And I asked them that, and you're going to get back some answers. Oh, I found this part to be easy, and they'll tell you why it was easy. And in my situation, a few times of doing this, what I learned was it was easier for them, and it was really because they got lucky. They actually did the wrong thing,
Yeah.
and, and they got the right answer, and they got
Yeah.
lucky,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah, I see that was easier, but that's not quite the way it should have been done. You
Yeah.
got to the right end, but not the right way.
Right.
Okay. Now, the beauty of the case method is you do it once, and then they go back and they, again, perform the task. They
Mm-hmm.
come back, you do it again. You
Yeah.
do the case method, and you iterate, and you iterate, and you iterate, and you iterate, and you iterate. You iterate to the point where now on my team, Michael, they iterate without me.
Yes. That's so good. Um, you're The thing I love about that, Atiba, is you're not delegating a task or a process as much as you're teaching them how to think through. You're giving them a road to walk on, but to go, I want you to think. And that's what you said they're now doing. They're able to replicate this process because it's super simple. It's got 4 steps, right? I love
Yep.
that. That is so good.
Yep.
And as
Yep.
yeah, as business owners, we have forgotten more about our processes than other people will ever know. That's why you're articulate the steps they took is so important, because you're going to sit there and go, oh, no, 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 no. I forgot to tell you about that, because it's just in here, right?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So you delegated like one big thing at a time, or and built this system and figured this system, and then you can, I assume you can now do this with 6 different people on your team, or how's that iterated over the last 3 years since
Yeah.
you're working through this?
Yeah. So it's a great question. So yes. So we started with one, right? And at that point, it wasn't the case method, obviously.
Right.
It was, you know, it just was what
Yeah.
it was. And then it was like, okay, what did we do? Okay, we did this. And then we did it again. Like, huh, yeah, it worked again. Okay. And we did it again. Okay, it worked. Right. And that's when we started to realize what it was that we had. Right. And then it became, okay, now go do this, because we were doing this with managers. Now go do this with your teams.
Yes.
Right. So we don't we didn't get the outcome that we expected. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So something was produced and it wasn't right in the end. Great. Let's go back and case method it.
Yes. Yes.
Figure out why.
Yeah.
Right.
You figure out why, but what you said earlier, the expectation. I expect you to fail. What difference does that have when they get to the end and they fail? They're coming to you maybe with fear and trembling under normal circumstances. But in this circumstance, it's more free because I expect you to fail. I achieved it. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. You're like, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Failure is one of those things that as business owners, we're sometimes definitely afraid of, and we shouldn't be,
Yeah.
um, because we fail more than we succeed.
Oh yeah.
That's number one. Number two, our staff is afraid to fail because they feel like failure would equal, us jettisoning them and firing them and or bad performance. All these different things that play through their heads.
Right.
Um, and I believe it's incumbent upon all of us to create an environment where failure is looked at as what it is. It's a step in the process to success,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And 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 this is the key, Michael. I'm not just talking about failure for the sake of failure, okay?
Mhm.
I'm talking about failure for the sake of progress. So
Absolutely.
for example, if we have a process of how we do something, I'll give you a great example. I had a young lady who worked for me, and if you're going to schedule a meeting with me, we have meeting links that are my calendar links, depending on what type of meeting, right?
Right.
That way, it has my calendar. Whoever I'm meeting with can just choose their appropriate time. Okay, high value client, high value meeting needs to be scheduled. She decides to send him an email. Would Monday at this time be better, or Tuesday at this time? Why?
Yes.
That's not the process.
Yes.
That's failure. Okay. That is
Right.
failure. That's not good. However, I have another employee who we're looking at how we can be more efficient with Instagram and the outcomes that we have on Instagram for a couple of our clients. And she tried some stuff. She figured out something, and she was right about what she figured out. She was wrong about the way she implemented it, and got 2 client accounts banned.
Ooh, not good.
Not good. Not good. But to me, that's not a fireable offense,
Nope.
because you failed in the act of progress.
Yes. That's good. Yeah, I was listening to a Tony Robbins tape a while back, and he framed it. He's like, there is no such thing as failure. There are only results. Trying to get us to around to go. Yeah, I mean, the things we let people go for is really terrible performance or character issues.
Right.
But if you're going forward and you're learning, you're growing, you're iterating, and you're making good mistakes, we can fix all of that, right?
Yes.
Especially now that we know the case method, right? But what it does is it removes the fear and anxiety of
Yes.
an employee or a team member to be a poser, trying to figure things. No, just come. We are all on the same team.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And it's key to your growth. And for me, this case method and allowing people to fail is also the key to my personal freedom. I
Mhm.
am the best when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I am not the best when I'm sitting working. That's not where I'm the best.
Right.
I'm the best when I'm traveling. I'm the best when I'm out meeting people.
Hmm.
Okay. Where are you the best?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you're not doing it right now because you've enslaved yourself to your own art.
Yes. Yes, because the painting doesn't get painted without the artist. And when you are the artist, that's it. And whether you're an attorney, a financial advisor, a plumber, don't matter. If you don't understand what Atiba's talking about, at the end of the day, it's the E-Myth, right? It's building the business that
Yes.
runs without you, but you've simplified it in a really cool way to go, here's how you actually bring somebody on and teach them the system, because that's what you were talking about. You have a system, a way of doing something. Bring
Mhm.
somebody on, show them the system, you go do it. Let's talk about it. And pretty soon they get it. It's like, oh, well, I can self-correct.
Yes.
And now you're developing a company that multiplies and frees you up to do what you're best at.
Yes. Yes. And it also gives you the peace of mind. Okay. Listen, my research team, they do SEO research better than I did.
Yes.
Okay. It's hysterical to me now when, it's like, because again, we forget more than we remember as,
Yeah.
as artists. And
Mhm.
every now and again, I'll remember something and I'm like, oh, I should tell them this. And I'll go and they're like, yeah, we already know that.
Yeah.
We figured that out already. Right.
Right.
And it's because this method keeps them going, right? And
Yeah.
asking the questions of themselves. You know, I'll be honest with you and tell you. So I said 3 years ago, but the seeds of this came over 10 years ago for me so my son, who's a quarterback, had a quarterback trainer. And I remember on his first day of quarterback training, the the coach said to him, your job is to learn to coach yourself.
Hmm.
Coach
Yeah.
yourself. Be your own coach.
Wow.
Right? Because here's the deal. When he's on the field, there is no coach with him.
Right.
When your employee is in the field, they've got to be their own coach.
Right. And when they are, they're not waiting for you to give them direction. No, no,
Right.
go. Yeah. Here's the process we take. If you fail, it's going to get fixed. It's going to be self-corrected. That is really, really good. And the cool thing is you're best when you're on stage. I'm guessing your company is now growing at the pace that when you come back and you say, hey, here's how you do that, and they're gonna say, Atiba, go speak. Get out of
Yes.
here, right?
Yes.
Because your business actually runs, dare I say, better when you're not there. Is that true?
So I have standing meetings with, certain managers and so on and so forth, right? And I get emails at times, you're not needed this week.
Love it. Love it, brother. That is so good. That's exactly what we try to implement in our business and teach to our clients and say, here's the ideas. Now, I don't have the case method. I don't teach that, right? But I love this case method because it's so simple to understand.
Yeah.
I bet it's challenging to do for artists because we don't want to let go. But when you realize that for your business to grow and for you to experience the freedom and the joy of really doing what you love to do. Because so many times I hear people say, well, I work 4 hours a week and go live on the beach. I don't want to live on the beach.
Right.
I want to do what I'm great at.
Yes, I was talking with at dinner last night about that and this whole sit on the beach with a drink and an umbrella. Like, yeah, like no, not in what I want to do,
I would
which is
go,
fine.
dude.
I'd go
Some people
crazy.
like to do it. Great. Go for it. I would
Uh,
be bored.
Yes, and that's okay. right? And to be that way, right? And what this does is it allows you to be you,
Right.
right? Um, here's the here's honestly the thing that I see is the biggest challenge that business owners have. Um, and it honestly is this: you're not okay with the messy middle.
Hmm.
And there's going to be some messy middle.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Give you another example. Again, case. So there's a young lady who, if you go to meetatiba.com, which takes you straight to my LinkedIn, you'll see all of my content. She runs all of my content on all of my social media. Okay. She's been with me for a while. This young lady, when she started 2.5 years ago, I remember a friend of mine sending me a message saying, dude, you're the video content Superman. Your content kind of sucks right now. Right. And I knew she had just started and she was still just learning. And we were just starting to iterate.
Yeah.
That same friend, a month and a half ago, actually less than that, a month ago, sent me a message and said, dude, your content is so far beyond anyone else's in this space right now. It's just absolutely mind blowing. And I wrote back to her and I said, guess what? 2.5 years ago, you sent me a message and said my content sucked. Today, you're saying it's great. It's the same person doing it.
Yeah.
But I had to go through the messy middle with her.
Right.
Okay. And you're going to have to, with this method, you're going to have to deal with some messy middle for a little while.
Yeah.
And
That,
you cannot jump in and fix because you'll
yeah.
sabotage it.
You will, because there's no growth there. There's no learning. You're not teaching them how to think and grow and become great at that, at their
Yes.
artistic world, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes. Right. And so, I'm also not saying go put out horrible stuff and go ruin clients' day. And that's not what
right.
I'm saying
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that, you may realize that, okay, this was an 80%. We got to 80%. And is
Yeah.
80% okay and okay for you or okay for the client? Maybe it is in this arena right now. You know you want to get to 100%. You know you're not
Yeah.
happy. You're not satisfied. But I was at 80 today. Next week I could be at 85.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an upward trajectory because you have a tool now that you can teach, your team can learn, can teach, and it makes everything more consistent because it's like, well, here's how we do things. We always use the
Yes.
case method. And boom, and it makes it so much. I joined Strategic Coach with Dan
Ah,
Sullivan, and he is
mhm.
just he's a tool making machine. You've created a tool that is so easy to understand and replicatable that it works for everybody. That's why you said we've done it. Now we've done it with lots of others. Now it's replicatable. It'll work for anybody.
Yep.
Totally get it. Any industry could do this. Any entrepreneur. I love that. Well
Yes.
done.
Thank you,
So
sir.
well, you're welcome. I mean, and it's new and it's new and it's different at one level. There's no rocket science behind it, but it's the process. And oh my goodness, the hardest part of case that I picked up out of what you're saying is ask the question and shut up.
Shut it up.
It should come with like duct tape because we want to get in there and act. No, mm-mm.
You know
Yeah,
what? I think maybe I'll do that. That's a really great idea, actually. So one of the things I'm doing is I haven't done it totally yet, but we're creating a course based on the case method to actually get in and help you learn how to do this. And I think I'm going to include that. When you buy it, we'll ship you some duct tape.
roll of duct tape.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll
That's
ship some
great.
duct tape, and you just stick that over your
Mhm.
mouth. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
let me see. I'm gonna see if I can get some specialized duct tape that says case method.
Okay.
You can.
I'm sure somebody will do it. Yeah, because but yeah, that is definitely the hardest part. But if you can sit there and listen and take notes
Hmm.
and look them in the eyes and just tell me more. How'd that happen? You're right. You're gonna have two sheets of paper with just all kinds of insights and understanding. It's like, okay, well, let's dive in. Let's talk about what went well, what didn't, how and and you didn't even say this. But in that process, walking through the case method with somebody, you're building deep trust
Oh
and
yeah.
emotional bonding and culture, and this person cares for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be a hard conversation, because we're probably not always like this. We're like, okay, let's look at out here and right
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
side by side. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why you keep your teammates for so long.
Mm-hmm. Listen, the level of trust that we build is why we're successful.
Right.
Okay. When you start working for me, one of the things that you know up front is everyone hears it. Your goal is to become world class at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do is help create an environment where you can grow and learn to become world class.
Love it.
Right. And you become world class by asking better questions every single day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's how you get better every single day.
Yeah.
Well, the case method helps you ask better questions
Mm-hmm.
every single day.
Yeah. I love it. I'm reading a book called The Road Less Stupid right now, which is really Keith Cunningham, and he has a chapter in there, and he asks lots of questions, but he says, "What's more valuable than a great answer is a
It's a
really good
great
question."
question. Yeah.
And you're right. And when you give somebody a tool like you've created to get to the questions, because we're not really taught in life how to ask great questions. This methodology brings it to bear and makes it,
Yes.
dude. All right, we could go on because we could dive into this, but I love the case method. Are you teaching this? Is your course online yet? Or I mean, if somebody's out there going, dude, sign me up, what do they do? How do they connect with you to stay involved with this? Where is it?
Yeah. So the first thing you can do is go to meetatiba.com. It'll take you to my LinkedIn. Okay. Once you get there, hit the connect button, not the follow button, hit the connect button and tell me that you saw me here with Michael. I know you got some questions. Let me answer your questions. We are going to be releasing very soon a course on this and even a coaching program behind it because, yeah, you're going to need help through.
Yeah, through the messy middle. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna need some help through. And so we are going to be launching a group coaching behind this as well to help you through that. Because let me just tell you, okay, one of the big benefits, and I didn't say this earlier, but one of the big benefits that this has had for us is we've gone top line to bottom line. In other words, what used to be our top line revenue is now our bottom line profit.
Wow. Gotta love that, brother.
Okay. So not only have I gotten freedom to do the things that I am great at, but man, we got more money in the bank now than we ever had before.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's go back and just hit rewind and listen to what he just said. Because it's not, he didn't talk about buying more advertising or running some campaign. He's talking about building his people, really, at the end of the day. Building your team, freeing you up to do what you're best at. That's going to add more revenue. But when your team is on it, all those dollars start driving to the bottom line. And that's the
Yeah.
number we really need to be focused on. I'm really tired of
Yes.
people saying, I'm going to scale to 7 or 8 figures. I'm going, shut up. No, you're not. Because you don't have this. You don't have the case method. You don't have a way to build teams and trust and all of that. That's amazing. Okay, go to LinkedIn. We're going to capture that and put that in the show notes because you
Thank
need
you.
to be following Atiba. You need to be connecting with him, understanding this. And this is one of those episodes that you really need to just earmark, go back, listen to really 2 or 3 times because it really is Atiba. It's a mindset
Hmm.
that a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs don't have. And they need to rise above and realize we need to function as CEOs of our companies.
Yes.
And that's what you're building here is a methodology to become the case for the
Method.
CEO. Really.
Yes.
I love it.
Exactly.
I love it. Brother, thank you for coming back on Expert
Thank you
Speak.
for having me.
Yeah, dude, you're welcome. You keep creating things like this, we'll just keep having you back on. You're fun to be with. You're just a great person, a phenomenal
Thank you,
business
brother.
person, but you've got so many talents and things, but your abilities to communicate them and to share them and to help other people expand. And to facilitate growth in others is one of your sweet spots, I think. So, brother,
Thank you so much.
such a joy to be here, Atiba. I'll grab all the links. Y'all check him out on LinkedIn at meetatiba.com, which I think, by the way, is brilliant. Something that simple just to go to your LinkedIn versus saying, well, it's LinkedIn / what? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Meetatiba.com is where you start. I'll have that in show notes. Atiba, brother, thank you so much for being here and for what you're doing.
The pleasure's all mine. It's good to see you again, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.